Hello, you lovely people. So we're here today with the daily race A, and we're on the shifter karts. I've not done too many of these daily races, but as it was a karting race, I figured I'm going to take a shot at it. And as you can see now, I've adjusted my setup with a second camera, so you can see my wheel and just about see my strappy sock pedals. This race, when I did see it, oh no, it's not this one, there is a second attempt at this following on from this race. So just settling down now. Started very much middle to the back end of this pack, and it's quite as it's such a short race, it's quite difficult to make your way through, but I've managed to so far avoid getting any penalties. One thing I must say is, when the day that I actually recorded this, it was a few days now I've had this footage. It was on the 30th. I think today is, let me just quick check, today's the 3rd, so yeah, it was a few days ago. On that day, it was actually the first time that I'd been on this track. I'd not actually been on it prior to it. So what I'd done as practice, I did around 40 to 50 practice laps, and my times are starting in the region of about 1:15, 1:20 to begin with, and towards the end of the practice, I think they were just about coming in the 57 mark, the odd 58 and then 57 mark. So I've managed to pull it somewhat okay-ish to get me a reasonable qualification position. And then I actually attempted, I had 3 qualifications and I did 3 lots of the daily A races. I figured, why not, I'm going to jump in a few more. It was quite fun. I must admit, one thing with the Gran Turismo sport that I'm really like to wish to include more is if they had a karting league. I'm not sure why they don't have it, or if they have had it before, because karting, like, I find it the most fun part of it. I've just really avoided other races. I should try out other cars, but I just enjoy the karting side of it so much. It's really helping me. Just sticking to one car, not having to worry about learning other cars, is helping me to learn the tracks. And must have tried about 5 or 6 tracks now, which I'm quite comfortable with. And every few days I'll pick a new track to try and learn. One thing that I wanted to kind of go over, the wheel that I've got and base, I put a post on to Reddit, I believe it was yesterday or so. I bought a second-hand T300 base with the GT wheel, and there was a stand with it as well. Got a decent price, it was about £160. But someone mentioned that there's a little bit of an issue with overheating with the T300 wheel. Now, I didn't know this, and after doing plenty of Googling, it seems like the issue is to do with the software version. So it's got me in a little bit paranoid. That's why I've not been racing with it for the last day or so. I've mainly been trying to look at finding out what the software version is, because I don't have a PC. I do all my video editing on my phone, I do all my video recording on my phone, I do all the video capture straight off the PS4. So I've got a laptop, but it's a company laptop, and you can install any programs on a company laptop. So I've managed to find out what the software version is, and it's version 24, and currently there is up to version 30 out. Should be able to get in front of this chap here now he's got this penalty. Oh, he's wrong wide. Anyway, so I pulled out a laptop which was in the region of, I'm not even lying, it's around 10 years old, and this was all in the aid of trying to update the firmware on my Thrustmaster T300 base. My god, turning that thing on. Firstly, I had to remember the password, and luckily I actually remembered it. Managed to come in 5th, so I gained 1 position there. It's not too bad, I'm quite happy with that. I didn't lose any positions. So what I've done is I'm going straight into another race, and I've managed to start at 4th this time. So let's see how I get on with this. So going back to the T300 base, it's turned into quite an issue. It took around, I'm not even lying, 10 to 15 minutes for that was a really bad pun. I must apologise for that at the start. I think I really spoilt that guy's day then. That was terrible by me. It took me around 10 to 15 minutes for the laptop to turn on, and then to get it to run, say, stable, and then I had to wait another 5 minutes for control panel to open and close off the memory draining applications one by one. Managed to install the software onto this 10-year-old laptop. Checked the software version, came to do the firmware update, and for some reason some file just wasn't there. Everything else up until that point was working, but the file just wasn't working. It just so infuriating. So for the last day or so, I've been trying to figure out alternative ways of installing programs onto laptops without admin rights, which is a thing, which I'm going to be attempting shortly to try and get this software updated so I can get some driving in. So I'm really paranoid about that wheel. And I've even tried looking at installing Windows onto an Android phone and then trying to do a firmware update through a Type-C to USB connector through an S8 Plus, one of my old phones. Yeah, that was not fun, and it's terrible. Don't use Windows through Android. It's a really, really bad idea. That's kind of where I'm up to with that at the moment. I must admit the T300 is an amazing wheel. I'd highly recommend it to people. And for those that haven't already realised, I am so new to racing. I mean, that there, coming off the track at that point just proved how new and how terrible I am at racing. I have speckles of decent, fairly alright bits of driving, but I have to really try hard. So what are we up to now? Getting back to the race. So we're coming towards the end of lap 5. And I'm down 1 position on my starting. And we've got 2 laps to go. The lap times aren't looking great. Put a 58, other than that I'm struggling a little bit. For some reason can't seem to get in a groove. After I did these 2 videos, I then went and did a 3rd one, but I never recorded that. I just wanted to do it. It's quite late. I think I started at 4th, and I managed to end up at either 3rd or 2nd. It was a good race though. But then I went into another random lobby to try my luck on this track, and it ends up being with a load of Spaniards. And if you saw the previous video that I've just put on to do with the fastest lap, I have no idea what the settings on that room was. I just know I was I'd crashed on towards the end of the first lap, and I pulled a really bad time of about 1 minute 10. And then from there, I pulled a 56, a 55, and the next lap was an incredible 54.771. I have no idea. And since posting that video, some people have said that there's a setting called boost on. I don't even know about what this setting was, because it wasn't even my lobby. Now, it's very much possible that that setting could have been on, because I've seen some incredible drivers and they're struggling to get near 54. So it's very much likely that it was with boost on, especially when you look at my racing times now. I am not doing incredibly well. At least I'm only one position down. Anyway, you should let me know what you think of with the wheel and how the current setup is, and if you've got any thoughts. That's it for now. Drop your comments, likes, subscribes, and I'll see you next time.